Hello, welcome to What Am I Doing, the Dungeons & Dragons podcast where one experienced dungeon master and one failed scriptwriter discuss D&D topics. My name is Kinsey and my ridiculously inadequate pod partner is Lewis McCaffery.
I got a hand introduction as well.
I'm way too confident
Yeah,
now.
I can tell.
I got it.
You know what? You are getting better with this.
Yes.
Aside from the fact that this is our second take, you are getting better.
Well, I mean, the first take was...
5 seconds.
It was shocking.
It was shocking. But you know what? I'll forgive you this time.
Yeah.
But this is the last time you'll be
I feel
forgiven.
like a bit of a weapon.
I think
tool.
I was about to say you are more of a tool.
Yeah.
Because
not
weapons are a
not
bit more
badass.
ustle, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's a bit disheartening.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, if you might have noticed from me, just... I'm upset. I'm upset. I'm not. No, I'm angry.
We've broken him.
He's broken me.
It's great.
So, before we get into what the episode is about, which there was a very obvious hint there to what the topic is. Sadness about depression.
Yeah, if you hadn't have said anything, I genuinely would not have made that connection. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're as much of a tool as I am.
Thank you.
A weapon.
Thank you.
As I am. Okay, let's go into a bit about what we got up to. We're recording this on a Saturday.
Yes.
It comes out the following Thursday. But last night we went to the Grim North launch.
Yeah, I thought you were on about our bedroom antics when you said what we've been up to.
That's also live now on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
The snore cam, not sex.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Not yet. When there's a Patreon, we'll get sex as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, Grim North. It was great.
Yes.
Honestly, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Just quickly though, because it's in my head.
Okay.
Patreon, D&D, Patreon or OnlyFans, Only Clans.
I feel like I love it, but I
it.
feel like people would think it's Clash of Clans related.
We'll make more money if we do.
Well, true.
That's what it is.
I would
100%
100% subscribe to Only Clans.
Yeah, Only Clan. I'm in. I actually subscribe already. This is a paid ad.
Oh my god.
I thought the Grim Norths. We're back on that now. The launch was really good.
Yeah.
Lots of new faces to meet in the D&D community near us. Way bigger than we thought in terms of local community.
Yeah, we've clearly been looking in the wrong places because we had no idea this existed.
No, and playing with the wrong people.
Yeah, you know who you are. Are you pointing at me then? How rude. But yeah, you know who you are.
I'm sorry, I've got nothing.
Fair enough. I've got nothing left to give.
But to the actual session we watched itself.
Yeah.
We watched the edit that's gone up on YouTube as of today, Saturday the 1st of June. Obviously you'll hear this on Thursday, but Saturday the 1st of June it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And genuinely, when we got asked to come along, they said just be nice. If it's bad, don't be too mean.
Yeah.
And we like being mean. So
we do.
Sorry guys, but you're shit. You're boring. I had the worst time. I actually loved it.
Yeah,
we had no idea what was going to happen.
No, exactly. I mean, I think that's a good thing though, because obviously I know they contacted you about it and told you very little information, so I knew little. Like I knew basically nothing, and it was so nice to go in. Obviously, we had expectations of what kind of thing it'd be, and none of them were right, and I prefer that. I'd prefer going into a place like that and having no idea.
Highly recommend checking it out. This is genuinely, there's no paid advertisement.
No,
I mean, as you can imagine, with one listener, why would anyone pay
who's
us?
going to pay us?
No, we genuinely had a really good time.
Yeah.
The setting was great.
Unexpectedly great.
Really unexpected.
Yeah.
Not kind of 14th century fantasy as you expect, which is nice to be following something where it's just even slightly different. Like the technology being different, great.
I think
the characters relatable.
Yeah, because obviously I expected it to just be, like I said, a normal medieval D&D setting, which is everywhere on YouTube. Like, it's great, don't get me wrong, I don't think it'll ever get boring.
That's what we run,
yeah, we run it. I would have enjoyed that, and because it was different, it was really refreshing.
Yeah, the expectations... There were no expectations, and then we were like, wow, well, now the setting's set, and we really enjoy that. This has got to be good.
Yeah.
And the dynamic between the players and the DM was just popping off.
It was great.
There was at least 30-40 people at the screening yesterday, and people were really laughing at things.
Oh yeah.
Some of it was like really just typical D&D things, and yet people were like howling where they probably don't play D&D, and where they don't get how that could be taken it was good to see that they could enjoy it, and that's how you get people playing, and that's really important, I think, that it's accessible to everyone.
It was good because I know they said that a lot of it wasn't, like with the players and things, it wasn't scripted, and I think you could tell that because it felt very natural to watch the session play out. Like from the DM, you could tell what the DM were thinking at times. From the players, you could tell what they were like thinking. Yeah, it was genuinely great time. Really fun to watch.
There's just really good moments where I think we're so used to things like Critical Role where it's so perfect. These are like trained actors who have been doing it for years. They memorise lines weeks in advance, you know, and to see it all cut with such a big production, and then to go to this where a player can do something and the DM clearly hasn't thought about it, and not in an insulting way. We've all been there as a DM or as a player when you kind of grasp what DMs have to go through, and you can see the DM's face going, "Fuck." Yeah, and you go, and that's literally what we're there for.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, the non-perfect is completely relatable, and I absolutely loved it for that reason.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So if you haven't watched it, watch it on YouTube.
Highly recommend. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. And for our American listeners, they even have an American player
who is hilarious,
who makes jokes about the fact that not everything's relatable in the session because they're all northern. Because it's called the Grim North.
Yep.
So yeah, really funny. Yeah. Mix of players as well. Big variety of people from all kind of backgrounds. Really enjoyable. It didn't feel like it was the stereotype of what you'd imagine playing D&D and do you go, well, I've seen this, the 10 a penny, these kind of things.
I don't think it didn't feel like we were. Obviously, we weren't forced to watch it, but you know what I mean? It didn't feel like we had to sit through anything. Like, it was genuinely enjoyable from start to finish.
Yeah, a really good night. I know I'm conscious we spent 7 minutes on this now, sorry, guys.
Before we continue, I will say, what would you give it out of 10?
Ooh, I'm going to say an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
And the only reason I wouldn't give it a 10 is because I wasn't in it. I would love to, and I literally... Beautiful. I think the last thing I said before I left was next time I would love to be part of this. I want to be part of this. I don't even care about the fact it's in a studio.
Yeah.
It's like
just want to play D&D.
I just want to play D&D with people who are as enthusiastic, regardless of the story, regardless of what's going on. It was just fun, and that's what we're constantly chasing. And they showed us how it's done. Yeah, I think. You never hear us compliment people like this.
No. We're
horrible. I don't even like him.
Exactly. I don't even like me.
He doesn't even like D&D. I've just made him do this.
Exactly.
He's got a leash. He's wearing a leash right now. And
it's actually a ball and chain attached to my ankle. Yeah. That's why the camera
Remember your place. Remember your place. Right. Anyway, we'll just get straight to it because we've done like half a session on this already. I think it'll be a quick fire round. Okay. Quick fire kind of round thing. So this week's episode is on weapons. Ooh. There we go. Let's get to it. Okay, so today's episode is on weapons. My grandma used to say anything is a weapon if you're brave enough. I'm sure she said weapon. I'm sure that was the word she was talking about in that sentence. Lewis.
Yes.
I'm being attacked by a group of yoga mums in a New York deli. What am I using as a weapon? What am I doing?
Right. What are you using as a weapon?
Calmest question I've asked you.
Yeah, possibly. You are using the manager as a weapon.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously,
not the sausage.
No, not the sausage. Because if it's a group of yoga mums, they're probably going to ask for. I think that's what he said. They're probably going to ask to see the manager. So
I didn't say yoga mums.
What did you say?
No, I did. I
know. I was paranoid then.
You're a sickle.
That's like you just exposed me.
Yeah, your kink has been shamed. Okay, so using the manager as a weapon.
I'd use the manager as a weapon, but what I would also do is I'd have a bag of holding with half a dozen goats in, so I can introduce them to the wonders of goat yoga, which we are promoting. No, I'm joking.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and then while they're distracted by the manager hurling insults at them while they stretch over with goats on the backs, I run off.
That was way fucking weirder than what I asked you, I think. Yeah. Fair play.
Thank you.
Shake your hand.
Thank you.
Look to camera. Very good. Very good. Okay.
For you can't see anything. For you, it looked normal. For me, it was just...
Okay. So, first question: can you define the categories of weapons you can obtain in D&D?
No,
the
I
basics.
Cannot.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Let's move on. It's a quick fire.
Yeah. So you've got simple and martial weapons, which separate most of them. Simple being things like a club or, I think a short sword might be martial. No, simple. Yep. But those are the basic. Like, I think a light crossbow might be a simple...
Axe? Simple weapon?
Yeah, things like that. Hand
Okay.
axe. The simple weapon... Difference between simple weapon and martial weapon, I believe, martial weapons can either do more damage, for example, a great axe, or they are things like finesse weapons, like a staff. You may use your strength modifier to bonk someone on the head, or if you're a monk, you'd use your dexterity, so you can use either or.
Okay, so finesse is more about... What's the difference between martial and finesse?
So finesse...
Martial is like a weapon that kind of refines your expertise, I'm guessing. That how would you describe it that way?
Yeah, I suppose
And
that
finesse.
kind of makes sense.
Finesse? What's the
Finesse.
difference?
Now, I always... Just the words. I believe, because I always get these two confused in my head. Finesse is the ability to use either your strength modifier or your dexterity modifier.
Okay.
Is that... No! That's versatile. I'm a fool.
Oh.
Which one's finesse then, actually? Because I can't remember this.
I don't know. Should we Google
dear.
it, guys? Should we Google it? We failed you.
We have failed.
Let's Google it.
But, yeah, I know versatile. No.
Stop talking.
Yes.
Stop talking.
I'm embarrassing myself.
Told
here.
you. Use your choice of strength or dexterity modifier. There we go.
See, I know what I'm talking about.
We're here to teach you.
Yeah.
And we just got taught.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. But see, this is what we need. I need to believe in myself more.
And if we are incorrect at any point, remember to contact us, join our Discord, and hurl insults at Lewis.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, all of the pressure's on him because I'm asking him because I'm an idiot. Okay, all right.
But yeah,
number 2.
Yeah, the ability to change between strength and dex.
Yeah,
so if you're a barbarian, obviously you'd use your strength. If you're dexterity, like a monk or something, you're more likely to try and get the right hit rather than just getting a big hit. So you're more nimble with it.
Okay, I would argue that's not a good enough description. Not you. From... Yeah, sorry. I sound like I was just belittling you. No, from... Wizards of the Coast, and I think there needs to be a bit of a defined, because yes, fine, you're using a different stat, but and a choice of stat, but what does that finesse doesn't mean that? Do you know what I mean? And so hopefully with the new handbook, that's the kind of thing that we won't just accept it for
I
what
get what
it
you mean.
is.
It's something that new players might get confused about, definitely.
There we go. I mean, I'm confused right now.
Yeah.
I'm
always confused.
I'm confusing right now.
Yeah.
Okay, do weapons do different types of damage?
Yes, so the obvious difference is, let's say if you have a rapier, which is obviously long, thin, that will likely do piercing damage, because if you're going to hit someone, you're not going to try and hit them on the head with it, you're going to try and stab them. Whereas if you have a great hammer, for example, that's bludgeoning damage, because you're not going to slash at someone
it's the weight
with that.
Of it.
Yeah,
okay.
Think of it from a logical perspective as what bit is hitting them. Is it a sword, so you're actually slashing?
What have we got? Bludgeoning, slashing,
piercing. There are other types of damage, but when it comes to a weapon, I believe those are the main 3.
Okay, all right, cool. Briefly, can you give a scenario to differ between ranged and melee?
So a scenario when they're used, or so that can be anything as simple as, let's say you're in a coliseum or something, you're fighting someone head on. You are within 5 feet, so you can't get away from them, but you have a short or a long sword. That's the difference in terms of you're literally rolling...
Close combat.
Yeah, you're rolling to hit in terms of whether you make contact, whereas if you're 30 feet away, you have a bow, longbow, short bow, longbow, light crossbow, or crossbow. Yeah, heavy crossbow. That is where you'd fire the projectile and then roll to see if the projectile hits, and that's when you'd use the distance.
Are there situations that you're better off without a weapon entirely?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think this is more roleplay perspective.
Yeah.
But, or even sometimes in combat. Let's say if you're let's say if you go into a warlord's castle, I don't know, and you're there to assess the situation. If you go in guns blazing with a great axe in your hand, they might perceive you as a threat and they might attack you. Whereas and potentially kill you. Whereas if you go in unarmed, I feel like, especially in the roleplay aspect, because everyone in D&D has personalities, they might look at you and think, 1, you're not a threat, or 2, if it's an honourable villain, which you can have, they may think, I'm not going to kill an unarmed man, and wait until you've got a weapon and then fight you.
Try and assess the situation before jumping in at any point that you can, like in real life, really.
Exactly.
I pay my bills like they want? No, I go in, I Google the studio, I Google the main address of OVO Energy, and I turn up
with pennies.
With a great
pennies.
axe.
Oh, okay.
With a great axe, and I go to town. Or do I pay my bill?
I'd recommend the latter, but let's...
Pay the bill.
Yeah.
Pay the bill.
Never go in with a great axe.
Always pay the bill.
Yeah.
Never go in great axe. Great axe, bill, pay the bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Same for McDonald's.
Yeah.
Anywhere that you have to pay a bill.
To be fair,
pay the bill.
yeah. In Manchester, I'm sure we've seen a number of people going with great axes and Mackies.
Yeah.
But another way, just while I think of it, in combat, because that was a roleplay perspective, let's say again, if you're fighting one boss or something, and you have two people, or let's say if you're the boss, and you see one person clad in armour with a great axe that's already hit you a few times, and then you see someone else that's just in a robe with no armour, who are you going to try and kill first?
Yeah.
You're going to go for the one with the weapon.
Oh yeah, the one with the weapon, yeah.
Yes. Going to try and take out the biggest threat first. So
yeah, makes sense.
Most of the time, you want a weapon, but there are situations where it can be useful not to. Okay. That's not to say if you're in combat, just throw your weapon away.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
Last question then. Favourite weapon in D&D?
You.
Hey, that's beautiful.
No. I mean, great axe is always a staple. It's one of the highest damage ranks. It's the D12. But magical weapons, obviously the Vorpal sword.
Vorpal sword.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Non-magical, either maybe the great axe or, you know what, a staff. Because my favourite class being a wizard.
I like glaives.
Glaives.
I would love them to do kind of like more commonly found like magical samurai swords. Those kind of things, you know, where it's not just always a regular sword. Maybe some like cool daggers, some cool like shurikens, you know, throwing stars, that kind of. So there's just so much out there.
It'd be cool to
in
have
real
nunchucks.
History to that kind of thing. They could do more with that. And I don't think they do enough.
Tell you what, one of my favourites is, and this is purely because of the Fandelver campaign I ran, a halberd. Just because I knew that one player really wanted a halberd, so I removed it from the shop, and he spent the remainder of the 6-7 sessions looking for one, which I did not provide.
And that, my friends, is bad DMing.
Bad DMing.
Okay, alright, so today's adventure is sadly coming to a close, but we're back again next week with the topic: the crayon colours don't represent the length you can insert them. Why?
Insert them where, I wonder? Find out next week.
And as always, thank you for tuning in, and if you'd like to join in on the D&D action, then please follow us on Instagram and TikTok at WhatAmID&D, or check out the link in our bio to join our Discord server. I've been Connor Kinsey.
I've been Lewis McCaffery.
Good day.
Goodbye.